What is up, my fellow Chibits? Today I'm here to bring all of you the weekly manga chapter review of Taizai. You know, one of the main reasons why I respect Nakaba-sensei so much is because Nakaba-sensei doesn't try to deny that there is some ships and romance in this series. See, normally a Shonen Jump writer would kind of ignore the ships, like they would set up the ships and then they wouldn't really clarify them until right before the end of the series. And to see how Nakaba-sensei constantly mentions the ships, for instance, Jericho x Bon, it makes me happy. Because it's not just being shoved to the side and then being quickly developed at the end of the series. We're actually seeing slow progression between characters. And I think by now, everybody knows how I feel about romance. And to see romance in one of my personal favorite series to review weekly, Taizai, it's an added bonus. And it's not just the action and great storytelling I love from Taizai, it's actually the romance. Because, I mean, it's not just Jericho and Bon or Elaine and Bon. I mean, you have Diane and King, you have Elizabeth or Liz and Meliodas. I mean, there's a bunch of romance that form between characters, and I'm glad to see that. I really am, just to see how Nakaba-sensei takes the time to develop romance in the series instead of just always focusing on, you know, action and everything else. We actually get to see character progression, characterization, along with romance build-up and progression throughout the series. And that's kind of what type of chapter this is. So, to really dive in, I think the main people that are really going to enjoy this chapter of Taizai is either A, the Jericho x Bon shippers. Like, if you ship those two, you're going to love this chapter. There's no questions asked right there. Number 2, or B, it'll be people that love romance. If you love romance, you're going to love this chapter as well. And number 3, if you like some good comedy romance with some sexual tension, I think you might like this chapter as well. Because one thing I was shocked to see was sexual comedy in this chapter. Yeah, sexual comedy. Like, okay, I know we get fan service in weekly shonen series and stuff. I know we do, like, you know, boob grabs and stuff. But I'm talking about sexual comedy that actually imply sex, like real sex. And I'm like, yo, like, in this chapter, you have it to where the dude that is the owner of the shop is like, hey, you better not break my bed, okay? My bed is very fucking old upstairs. You better not break it when you guys get funky. So I was like, did he just imply that Jericho and Bon are gonna have sex and break the bed? Damn! Damn, Nakaba-sensei! And that's why I love Nakaba, because he doesn't try to hide that romance, and he also even adds stuff like that in. Just like, damn. Good job, good job, good job. Okay, so mainly, if you don't like romance, or you do not like the Jericho x Bon ship, I don't think you're gonna like this chapter, unless you like the sexual comedy. If not, I feel like those are going to be the people that really are not a big fan of this chapter, because I know there is a lot of shippers of Elaine and Bon, which I understand, because Elaine and Bon's ship has been going on for a very long time, and just, you know, throwing it out of the way and going for Jericho, I could understand how some would be kind of upset with this chapter. But still, I mean, at the very least, we got something that wasn't just always action and everything else. It actually had something else to another substance that we normally don't get from Weekly Shonen besides official romance series. So, getting back onto it, this chapter sets up the flashback for Bon. Now, as I talked about at the end of my review last week, I said that most likely we're going to be getting a flashback of Bon, judging by the dialogue we had at the end of last week's chapter, which it takes this entire chapter with some setup for Bon to finally start revealing more about his life and his past. And we get to see little child Bon in this. I'm like, yo, that's cute, man! So little child Bon is in this chapter, and we get to see how he grew up and what life he lived. And it seems like next week, we're going to find out more about, like, Bon's mentor, his teacher, that taught him how to be a thief and do what he does. And I'm going to assume, I'm just assuming, this is me theory crafting and stuff, that the person that we met at the end of this chapter that is going to be Bon's teacher or mentor, I'm either A, going to assume he's dead, B, he probably did something to Bon and Bon doesn't like him anymore and he probably died, or C, the dude just disappeared and Bon has no idea where he's at. One or the other probably happened. But I like how we're finally getting some more backstory to Bond, because as we all know, Bond is one of my favorite characters, and just to see him getting the spotlight and finally getting into his backstory, besides just the Elaine stuff, we're going to get some really good characterization for him, and what drives him to do what he does. And so yeah, next week is looking to be a very good chapter, and I mean, this chapter was very good. I love this chapter, because I've already said, it's romance, Jericho, Bond. Even though I still kind of ship Elaine and Bond together, I cannot deny that this chapter is freaking great. I love the comedy in it. So, tell me your thoughts in the comments below. How do y'all feel about this week's chapter of Taizai? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please be safe. Chibi out.